and welcome to another episode of the Rick Williams Show. I'm your host, Rick Williams, and today on this episode, I'm back again talking about this election and where the younger folks look to be in 5 years, and how your plan for 5 years has a lot to do with what happens in November. Are you a registered voter? Do you take it serious on being a registered voter? It's important that you get out and vote because it matters what happens in your life and what goes on each and every day of your life. Being a registered voter gives you the right to speak on what you believe in, because you can go in the polls and speak on how you vote. If you turn in 18, register to vote. If you're already 18 and older, I hope that you are a registered voter. This is the most crucial presidential election in my time. And maybe it'd be the first time that you ever voted. But think about how you vote and who you're voting for. Those of you that was able to vote 4 years ago, those of you that was able to vote 8 years ago, you think that you want to vote for the candidate because they put money in your pocket 8 years ago. If you sell your vote for $1,200, you sold your soul. So I ask you, are you really paying attention to what's going to happen in this election that's coming up November 5th? Have you really paid attention to which candidate is the best for our tomorrow? You listen to the news, if you do, or you see different clips on social media. Everybody got something bad to say about what this person done, what this person done, what that person done. If you are the coach and the other person is assistant coach, that means that the assistant coach really ain't got much to say. Maybe give advice on what they think about this and what they think about that, but it lies on the coach. So I gave you that scenario to think about how they talk about what the vice president didn't do in these last 4 years. The vice president have to follow the orders of the president. And the decisions they make have to be approved by the president. So if we listen to these clips and say what the vice president didn't do and what this president didn't do or what that didn't happen, think. You cannot outspeak your boss. Even if you may be more logical on the situation to give advice that may help, but your boss don't never want to be overshined. That's in the coaching, the teachers, because the principal is the head of the school. You may have a doctor's degree in this, but the principal is the head of the school. The president is the head. The CEO is the head. So as you look at these different commercials and they tell you that she did this, she did that, she did that, think about this. If people say that Trump is good for business, well, explain to me, how does it mean If he's good for business, why did he file bankruptcy 6 different times if he's a great businessman? Make you think. That's who you want to run this country? Was life good for you 8 years ago? So we give all the credit to what he did. But think about it. When he came in office in 2020, when he came in office in 2016, he came behind what Obama had already built. And he just continued to push it and got credit for it. But in 2020, from 2016 to 2020, 2016, guess what? 2017, guess what? 2018, guess what? 2019, October, we got introduced to COVID. And we deal with that all the way through 2020. And still dealing with today. But because things had went the way it went, the government decided to give us some stimulus money. And you believe that that was great. It was a boost for you during that time. But was you bought for $1,200? Vote. Vote. But think about who you're voting for and what is it going to do for your life 5 years from now, a year from now. If you got a plan, then you ought to know what you're going to do with your plan and who's going to help you with your plan and how the country is going to be running for your plan. There is so much that you have to take in consideration with this next election. There is so much that you need to investigate on each candidate. It's not just the candidate for the president. Other elections. Look what happened with your Supreme Court. Do you think they should ban abortion? Think about all the things that's on the table. What about the wars? And I don't understand that we is getting beat up in this country because of what's going on in somebody else's country. That ain't for me to understand, I assume. But it looked like folks are blaming this person and blaming that person for what's happened to folks in the other country. If we are from Africa, or we are citizens of Africa, nobody fights and care about what happens to our people or the people in Africa. But America is supposed to care about what happens to the people in those other countries because they got relatives and everything over there. We don't want to see nobody hurt. If you have a heart, you don't want to see nobody hurt. Why is we fighting anyway? But think about the person that will lead this country the next 4 years and how would they feel about what's happening in these other countries. So I really want to elaborate on the young folks that's speaking about, I don't like either candidate. I don't want this candidate. I don't want that. But have you really did your research, or are you just going off of something you've seen on social media or something you heard? Listen, investigate, get the real truth about the candidates. If I was an individual or I was one of the candidates running for office, I think I would do this to reach the people, the real people. I know I go from city to city, state to state with rallies, speaking, saying things, people standing behind me with my signs, with my name, with my vice president name, my running mate and everything, and everybody cheering, they holler and scream when I say a couple of words. But if I really wanted to touch the people as I fly from one city to the other or one state to the other, in that airplane, I would ask each one of my campaign managers for every city, every state, to connect me by Zoom to the most popular barbershop, beauty shop, or different places, community centers, and allow me to spend 30 minutes or so to ask questions, to speak to the everyday people that we asking to vote. You cannot come out and set up at their building or at their barbershop or at the salon, but if they came on Zoom and was able to speak to the candidate straight up, they will feel more connected to you. So I'm telling each candidate, and most of the one I like to see in office, but I'm telling each candidate, think about that. If I was running for office, that would be one of the ways I would reach the people. And they say in 2008, back when Obama ran for office, that he did very well with social media. Okay, maybe it won't happen this time. But I say to you, think about it. Think about it very well. If I'm running for office and I can't get to everybody, I would have my campaign managers across the country to reach the people, set them up on Zoom, have 5 or 6 questions that I could speak and ask to every salon, every grocery store, wherever you, community centers, wherever you get them at, and bring me in on Zoom and let me feel like I'm there with the people and talk to them. That will gain the people that is undecided on which way they're doing. Because they can feel, just like I'm sitting here talking to you now, you could do the same thing as a candidate to reach the people straight up. You can't sit in their living room, you can't sit in a barbershop, because that ain't enough time. But if you came to them through communication, whichever way, you got the best internet in the world, so we know you got internet on the plane, have your campaign managers to set it up for you to reach the people. Campaign managers, go to the colleges as they sitting in the study hall. Bring them on Zoom to talk to the candidates that's running for office and let them speak and say what they say from their heart, because you can't reach everybody, but you got campaign managers all over the place that can bring you in on Zoom as you spend an hour, 2 hours, or whatever, flying from one state or one city to the other. You can speak to the people. That's what I would do. And young folks would be more excited to know who they're voting for and know that they spoke to them about their concerns. That's what I would do. So I'm just trying to speak on some type of way that we can get to the people that are so undecided, or the people that don't want to vote because they don't like either candidate. Well, why they don't like either candidate? They may know about one candidate that did all the things they did, and a candidate that got 34 felonies but still can run for president, or a candidate that they say, oh, all of a sudden she's black, but she's an Indian, she's this, she's that. Who cares? You really don't know who you are. That's what they say here. You don't know where your genes coming from. But it don't matter. What are you doing? It don't matter who you are. We so quick to judge everybody for what they are or what they think, what you think they are because somebody said this. But do your own investigation and look at what the person is trying to do to make your life better. Don't matter who they is. If they're trying to do something to make life better for you in this country, then understand that that may be the person that you want to get behind. But you cannot sit around and listen to a bunch of folks that ain't did no research and say, hey, I ain't doing this, I ain't doing that. Stop being a part of the party that you don't even know where you're at. Be a part of the situation and the solution for a better America. That's the situation, a better America. And who are you going to have leading you in this new America? Who? It's important. It's very important that you talk to your children that is old enough to vote. Get them understanding, and maybe the children of 18, 19, 20, 24 years old may have to talk to their parents to get a better understanding of what is better for tomorrow. If the president, the sitting president, understood that they should step down because of age and not maybe feel that they would be fully capable of running another 4 years, and they step down because it's time for a new change. It's time to turn the page. It's time for y'all to turn the page and get involved in what's important for your tomorrow. Get involved. Be a part of the solution for a better tomorrow by voting. But understand who you're voting for. If you got the United States Supreme Court that overturned this and overturned that, you got your local Supreme Court. It's right here. And we got some great candidates that's going for re-election right here in Michigan. You got some local individuals that are running for re-election or running for office. Do your research. Stop going on name recognition and you don't know who they are. If I'm running and I'm shady, I'm going to tell you everything you want to know. But when I'm raised at the right hand and I'm sworn in, I'm in now. So I ain't got to stick to what I said. And some candidates do exactly that. As soon as they get sworn in, you can't reach them no more. They ain't got time. But while they running for office, you got them on speed dial. You can talk to them one-on-one. They hugging and kissing babies. Shaking hands and kissing babies all over the world or all over the district that they trying to be a part of. But don't mean nothing to you once they sworn in. So that's when you do your research. You really think that 45 has got your best interest? Think about it. What have he done for small business or black business? In his own business, how many people of color that he had working for him? How many people of color that he put in leadership positions? It's not about the color, but Project 2025 is speaking about we don't exist no more. So if y'all can come together and go to the hustle class, if y'all can come together and go to the party, if y'all can come together and do all the things that don't matter to anything, why can't you come together and do something about who's going to run this country the next 4 years. That's what we need to find unity. Please understand, I'm one of them. We all grieved over the loss of Frankie Beverly. The whole country of us miss and will miss the voice, the beautiful voice of Frankie Beverly. And we celebrate his life all last week. But think about what Frankie said. Before I let you go, I want you to think. I want you to think about what is you going to do to make a difference in this country with your vote. What are you going to do? Because Frankie said, we are one. And West, we are one. We got to come together and stand. It ain't because the candidate that is running look like us, thinking that we should vote. If they wouldn't had our best interest in hand, or this country's best interest in hand, I don't care what color you is. That don't mean I got to vote for you. But let's vote for what's right, because we are one. And we are to be the ones that stand together. Every other nationality got unity among them some type of way. But we don't. Black Lives Matter when somebody different kills one of us. Mainly, you know what I'm saying. But we killing one another every day. Do Black Lives Matter then? So think about it. It's time for us to stand up and have some unity and togetherness as one. It's time. Why are we so divided? We don't support one another. We won't help one another. If I'm good at something and you good at this that I ain't good at, and I'm good at something that you ain't good at, why don't we put it together and make both of us good? Everything in this world ain't about money. Everything you do ain't about money. But you can do something to help one another, to lift one another. So we need to stop being the crabs in the barrel. We need to stop stepping on one another. Reach back and pull one up. It's time. It's a shame that we look at one another like we are each other's enemy and don't spend no time trying to help one another. Why are we spending so much money elsewhere in other business? Every beauty salon, every beauty supply store is ran by the people that don't even use none of the products that they sell. But they are multi-millionaires because what we do, we go in there and spend all the money on stuff to try to look like we don't look like. What is y'all looking like? What are you looking like? We are so money hungry. Everybody want to be filthy rich overnight. You got a talent, help one another. Why is it that entrepreneurs trying to have a small business, and congratulations to quite a few black-owned businesses that have opened up in Detroit and around the areas. But look at it. They catching pure DHELL because they got to pay more to get the supplies that they need. They got to pay more to get this, got to pay more to get that. They got to pay more to have their business. They got to raise the prices because when they go buy the supplies that they need, they got to pay more than the other ones. If you look around, pay attention. When you go to the gas station, They opened everything up that they went to Sam's or Costco's or BJ's and bought. Paid one price and sell 2 packages that cost as much as the one box, the whole box costs. That's the way the business runs. And what are you doing? Going up in the gas stations and making them rich. Why don't y'all come together in the community? Maybe you cannot afford to get to Sam's Club. Maybe you cannot afford a Sam's Club membership. But why don't y'all come together in the community in this neighborhood and say, hey, I got a Sam's Club card. Give me your order. And all y'all come together and buy in bucks. And then you get to the back and you separate. Here's your order, here's your order, here's your order. And see how much money you save. Do you pay attention when you buy gas? You just run up in the gas stations. You could give somebody $10 to ride with you, because that's about how much you're going to spend more when you go to the regular gas station. Give them $10 to use their Sam card. Ride with me and go up to Sam's and fill my tank up. And look how much money you save. Think, people, think. Work together. We like crabs in the barrel, pulling each other down. Pulling each other down. It's time. It's time to come together. Us as people, it's time for us to come together. We are one. And if we don't, we're going to take all this joy that we have in life and turn it into pain. Because we are already in pain. Y'all just faking it. You're faking it. Trying to keep up with the Joneses. But let's come together and help one another. Let's come together and help one another. And teach the young folks the importance of voting. When you say you don't want to vote, you are just beat down your grandparent. You just beat down your mothers or your great-grands, because they had to suffer and get whooped, chased with dogs, water hose sprayed all over them, just to earn the right to vote. And here you are today, got the right to vote and don't want to vote? Really? Really? It's time to look at the history of what we had to come through and go through to even be where we are today and have the things that we have. Do you know how much suffering and pain that black folks had to go through in the 60s? In the 60s, when they was fighting for the civil rights. So before you think that you don't want to vote, think about you don't care nothing about your grandparents or your great-grandparents. So take time and think about the importance of what it is to vote. And I appreciate you. Listen to the Rick Williams Show. Thank you, and get out and vote November the 5th. Because we need to come together as one.